It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Let's get out of here. Aye. Hey everyone, it's Aaron from God a Minute. Brother Aaron from God a Minute. Get tight with Christ, enter into a relationship with Him. That's the most important thing. Let Him save you, let Him heal you. We are bringing a presentation here about the midpoint Hanukkah. Before I get into that and the fig tree, if you'd like to support the channel, the links are in the description box below, and I've got Discord links and Facebook groups and stuff like that. So check that all out. I'm going to briefly tell you what I'm talking about, then I'm going to turn the camera around and show you charts and little clips of videos, and then I'll recap what I'm saying. So here's the overview in a nutshell. I think that the 80-year prophecy with the parable, I should say, but could be a prophecy of Psalm 90 verse 10, 70 to 80 years, the 80-year mark could represent the midpoint for Israel. Back in the time when King David ruled and reigned, and Solomon took over, there was an 80 years, and then the kingdom was divided. 80 years. We've got another time frame after the Maccabean revolt in around 141 BC to 63 BC, that just shy of 80 years that Israel was an independent state temporarily. But they didn't last longer than 80 years. So 80, less than 80. Now Israel comes back into the land in 1948. If 1948 really is the benchmark, you add 80 years, that's 2028 May, 80 years. And so it is very fitting that the midpoint could actually, of the tribulation, could actually be the end of their 80 years. And the last time that we can use Hanukkah within the 80-year window would be December 2027, December 25th. I've talked about it being Hanukkah, would be Israel's 79 and a half years old existence since 1948. So let me show you some charts and stuff, and we'll get into that. All right, here's a chart showing King David and King Solomon. And you can see he started ruling somewhere around 1011 BC, more or less, maybe even 1010. And then King Solomon continues it on, and it ends in 931, more or less. So there was about 80 years between King David and King Solomon, about 40 years of rule for David and about 40 for Solomon, more or less. And then the kingdom was divided thereafter. So Israel really didn't get beyond 80 years. And then over here in the other part of history, I'm still learning about this, so I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure based on my study here, Simon, the brother of Judas, after the revolt, after Antiochus Epiphanes IV, who, if you're not familiar with him, get to know him, but that's not the point of this video. Right after that, Simon, brother of Judah, Maccabees, it looks like he was able to get Israel to be named to be independent from around 141 BC, and then that ended at around 63 BC by Pompey. Okay, so that was less than 80 years here, where Israel was recognized as an independent state from Simon, brother of Judas, Maccabees, governor of Judea, until Pompey conquers Jerusalem in 63 BC. So we got two moments where Israel was a state, but 80 years or less. Okay, so if we use this timeline right here, I've talked about this before, and I'll zoom out a bit. And we've got a potential halfway point, midway point at Hanukkah. At the same time, Antiochus Epiphanes would have set up the Abomination of Desolation. Minus 1260, that gets you to July. So I'm looking at a rapture window anytime between May, June, July at the time of this recording. And then 2031 could be second coming. But what we have here is Israel is 79 and a half years old, 79.5 more or less years old at this point. So this is kind of like the last time you can use Hanukkah within the 80-year time frame of Israel becoming a nation. Okay, so let me just show you a couple video clips here.
He was succeeded by his brother Simon, the last of Mattathias' sons. Simon sided with Demetrius II in his war with the rival who had killed his brother, and in return Demetrius granted Judah freedom from taxation, which in the ancient world was tantamount to granting independence.
All right, so Demetrius II, according to this video, was able to grant independence to Israel at this time. So I'll look into this further, but that seems to be, like I said, around 141 BC. And then here's another.
And so, after decades of occupation...
And here's another video from Prime Minister Bennett, and he was talking about the same kind of history here. Let me see, starting around here maybe, let's see.
So we lost 80% of the Jewish people. All of us are descendants only of Judea and Benjamin, right? And then we regrouped, formed another house, another home, another Jewish state. The first one survived 80 years, the first temple, 80 years. King David and Solomon, about 80 years. The second temple, or the second commonwealth of the Jewish people, survived as a sovereign and united country about 73 years during the Maccabees. And then again, internal strife tore us apart. So the Jewish people have never exceeded 80 years in Eretz Israel as a sovereign united state. We're now 73 years old. Man, this time, we're not going to let it fall apart. We're not going to let it fall apart. That's why...
Okay, I'm not quite sure about that. All right, let's do some camera work here. Okay, a little halfway point here, Daniel 11, verse 31. This is Antiochus Epiphanes. And forces shall be mustered by him, and they shall defile the sanctuary fortress. Then they shall take away the daily sacrifices and place there the abomination of desolation. What is the abomination of desolation? Antiochus defiled the sanctuary by sacrificing a pig on the altar. He put a stop to the daily sacrifices, and he set up an image of Zeus in the holy place. Jesus said that a similar thing would happen just prior to his return in Matthew 24:15. All right, let's do that. Let's go read Christ's words. So he says that something like this is going to happen again, and that's halfway point. And so we see this. Therefore, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, whoever reads, let him understand, let him just take off. Now, here's the point. When they take off, Israel loses their statehood. Israel is no longer a state at this point. And this would be 79 and a half years old Israel. At this point, if they take off at halfway point in December 2025. Interesting. Now, the midpoint, another scenario for midpoint is Passover 2028, and that still fits, okay? But here, I'll turn the camera on here. Again, just to recap, we have a potential fig tree generation expiring at the midpoint. If the midpoint is 2027, Rapture could happen anytime between now and the summer. That fits really nice. If we put Passover into the midpoint at Passover 2028, that still fits. That's last window of time for this theory of the 80 years at the halfway point, because then that could happen just before they turn 80 in the spring of 2028. I really love this theory. It matches so many things in typology, and it's really great. At the end of the day, the halfway point when the abomination of desolation happens is going to be the destruction of the state of Israel as an independent state. It's just going to, because they're going to be flee to the wilderness, right? So I'll leave you with that thought. I think it's very thought-provoking. And if that theory, which it's a theory, if this theory is true, we should expect to fly this year. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Okay, let me know what you guys think. God bless. See you in the clouds. Go, Jesus, go. One day closer.